So for the Excel part, good evening everyone. I'll be doing a video on the Excel aspect. Basically, all the things, not all now, but 70% of the things you need to know on Excel. Can show you that questions that will be coming out on Excel. What you'll be learning in this video will cover 70%. So what will be left is probably those the shortcuts like Control Shift down, those are the shortcuts. So you can do your own research on that. But the major is what we are going to be learning today. And so you know that you are prepared for the Excel part and the coding part. So the Microsoft part, what you need to learn, you need to learn how to create certificate, title block, content page, and the rest. Whatever I need to learn, then the general computer knowledge talks on that. So let's quickly learn some things. So in this case, let's see some of the things Excel can do by having some practical, right? So /n, which is just serial number. So I can say 1, next line 2. Now I don't want to do it myself. I can complete it by the autofill. So all the way to 15. Okay, it's too much. 13. Now it showed me 2, 2, 2, 2, 2, 2, 2. But what will happen the moment I do this? I'm to clear now and put 2. So if I do this and I come here, let me put 3. If I come here now and say autofill, take it all the way to this point. Wow, it's still showing me this, but it worked during the afternoon. It's okay, there's no problem with that. Let me just try one more time. 1 and 2, but nevertheless 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. It will be too much, just a little example. So this actually worked during the afternoon, but that was for cut number. I used it to generate a auto generation of math number actually. So let's say for the first person is Sam. The person's name is Sam. This person's name is John. This one's name is Jeremiah. Jeremiah. So okay, this other person's name is Kenny. And this one is Ben. And this one is James. So we have these names of these persons. Now let's say these persons, we're going to be learning about some functions regarding in Excel based using some practical example which we are doing right now. English and math. Let's say math. So in physics, basic class 25, 50, 32, 2, 68, 70, and 50. Okay, 80 rather. Physics. So let me change this to 45. So 72, 33, 84, no, 56, 54, 59. Just let me pause this, let me create this. Now I have this table set for scores in physics, chemistry, English, and math. So in this case, now we want to get that grade. That grade will be the sum But let's just see it practically. Let's just put it as a heading sum. Now the next column we have average, average. The next one will be having grade. Okay, let's say rank. The next one will be having grade. This grade actually is same as sum, so let me just put position here, then status. So this is one thing you need to learn. Then we have count. We have count if no count A. We have count blank. We have okay, that one for now. So let's learn how to use this. Now basically when you hear sum, this is how you make use of sum. You can sum between two numbers. You can sum between 50 and 50 like this, 50 comma 50. You get 100. So you can also sum between multiple numbers by saying 50, by saying 50 again, it is 200, right? Another way you can do this, you can say let's say you want to sum between English, the person score for Sam and for math. So to do that, English is at E position, E here. So E 2, that's for Sam. So yeah, I'll say E2. You can use small letter, big letter. Then compare with F2. So this is how you make use of the sum. But let's use it properly now. So for the sum, we'll say equal to sum, open bracket, close bracket. And here, to make it easier, you can just, okay, since you'll be typing it, you won't need a system or phone that day. So want to get this addition, that's the sum of scores this person got for physics, chemistry, English and math. The person in question here is Sam. So for physics all the way to math, so from starting from physics is at C2 all the way to math, which is at F2. So F2. So this is what you do, and then you say this. So the person's sum is 240. That's what the person got. So to do autofill on this, you just click here, type fill, then drag. So you've gotten your autofill. You don't need to manually do the rest. This is the beauty of using Excel. That's just it. Now straight to average. Average, you say equal to average, same procedure, average. So in this case now, you say you want to do the same thing basically. So you say C2, from C2 all the way to, but in this case, but okay, you can do the same thing anyway. Just do it C2 all the way to F2. The average of these two number is 60. Not these two number actually. The average of from physics to F2, which is math. Now normally average is, let's confirm that average is sum divided by, so the sum is 24, right? 24. So it's going to be divided by 1 2 3 4, which is 4. So if you are to do this, you should get 60. If you go to your calculator, you do this stuff, you should get 60 as well. So let's see, just for clarity, confirming 240, right, divided by, is it 240? 240 divided by 4, you get 60. See, so meaning it is actually correct. So that's it about So auto fill, drag and drop. So you get the average. Now for rank, in the case of rank is the only confusing one that most times can be hard to memorize, but it's still easy. Just say equal to rank. In this case now, you say uh, you want to carry out the rank for the sum which is at G2, starting from G2. So in this case, uh you say comma, if I'm not mistaken. You will now say $sign G $sign 2. Now then dot comparison with $sign G all the way to $sign 7. So this is what you have to do. So now if I'm to click this, I get 5. So this is the rank. Let me just quickly confirm that by going over to my previous work. Best examples, just to be sure. So rank, let me see the formula. Yeah, we are on track. So that is just it. So from to open this again. So 5, right? So let me do an auto fill now. Fill, then drag and drop. So these are the ranks for this set of persons. So whatever position, in position now we begin to make use of if statement. So we say position, if the person's sum, which is his grade, if it is greater than something, we can do this. So let me just put something. Let me put grade. I can say grade now here in this case. Okay, let me just forget about it. I'm making use of this place. So going back here, I'll say equal to if open bracket, close bracket. So in between the bracket, I'll say if sum, which is sum is at what column now? G. So G, if G, if G2 from the first person is greater than, I can say greater than or equal to. So if it is greater than or equal to what do we want to use? Let's say 150, right? The person, if it is true, what do we want to print out? We'll say pass. If it is false, what do we want to do? We'll say fail. But this is not actually what we want to do. Don't think it's actually what we want to do. Because we do have something called okay, let me just pause. Let me check the other one. There's a way we present this, but it works. But let's try it out so you can see. It actually works. There's nothing wrong with it. If I'm to run this, see we get pass. If I'm to do auto feed, we get pass. Everybody got pass. So let me check this quickly. Back to that same best example. Position. In this case, I'm using my grade as position. So let me check the formula. Pass fail. Okay. Meaning is just the same thing actually. There's really no difference. Okay, let's continue. Something I really wanted to check for. So now we are having all this, right? I think I want to change that. 150 is too small. I think somebody should, let me use 200, right? 200. Person scored 200, jam or something. So in this case, autofill. Now only one person failed. So So now let's move over to status. In the case of status, in this case we are only using a single if statement. We only compare between one variable, we're comparing only between some, right? Now we want to compare between all the subjects. In this case, we need to use a multiple if statement, kind of multiple. We need to write our if statement in a way that can accept multiple conditions, and this is how you do it. You say if equal to if bracket open bracket close. In between the bracket open, you say and another bracket open bracket close. Then in between of it, you begin to write your statement. So you say c2 is greater than or equal to, let's say 45. Now everything must be true, so comma, then go to d2. After c is d, right? A B C D. So d2 is greater than or equal to 45, comma, the next line, not next line, comma, the next one be e, right? So it ends at f. So e2 is greater than or equal to is out. So greater than or equal to what? 45, comma, then the last one f2. F2 is greater than or equal to 45. So in this case, now notice something. Let's check for this. When we did this for when we did this opposition, okay, it's just changing. Greater than or equal to 45. Let me change this back. Let me change this back. We're saying if f2. When we did for if, just the if, we got our we did this inside, but in this case we don't do it inside, we do it outside. So we say if it is true, we get the extinction. If it is false, we can still put another if statement, just for the sake of learning. We will now say if this guy, if okay, let's end it there. We can still put multiple if statement as well. Yeah, let me just do it. There's a reason for it, because of one of the past questions, which is the latest current past questions. So say and then do this again. So you can see we can still have multiple if statements inside of a if statement. So we'll say from c2 again, c2, if c2 is greater than or equal to, if it is less than, here is less than, if it is less, okay, greater than rather, if it is greater than or equal to, okay, let me change this to 70, each of them 70, 70, 70, and then 70. So right here I'll use that same 45, comma, after c is d2 is greater than or equal to 45, comma, e2 is greater than or equal to 45, comma, a b c d e f, f2 is greater than or equal to 45. So if this is true, what should happen? This is what should happen. Outside the and bracket, so say this thing is becoming Wow, this thing is now becoming confusing. 45 in the sense that the formula is getting too long for it to handle. So this is the for the inner one, and we have another one outside, then another outer one again. Okay, let me just do this first of all. Comma, comma, and then if it is, we have merit, merit, merit. That is if it's true. So if it is false, we have pass, pass. So this is for that, and then we have the major model. So if I'm to run this now, we are getting this whole complication because of our, but basically, nevertheless, let me just cut this out so we can see, we can actually see what is going on. I'll correct this in a moment. So if I'm to cut this out, cut, and then in this place put the merit instead. The merit. Well, I think this has nothing to do with it. I have to exit. It's becoming so. Let me enter again. Do that again. So in this case, let me do it very fast. Say equal to if, and if, then do this, right? So in between, I'll say if C2 is greater than or equal to 70, comma, D2 is greater than or equal to 70, comma, E2 is greater than or equal to 70, comma, and the F2 is greater than or equal to 70. So if that be the case, I'll say distinction, and comma, I'll say true, no, merit. So in this case, this is what is going to be. So you can see we get merit. If I'm to do autofill, okay, I have to click fill first, fill, then autofill. Every person is getting merit, merit. So it means nobody actually met up to that distinction. So let me complete the formula. Let me just add, like I said, I can put a if statement here in this case. So I can do something like this. Let me give this space. So I can say if instead. I can now say if. I can say if C2, because the multiple condition I want to add in here, I have to put hand, then do this again. Then inside of it, I'll say C2 is greater than or equal to 45, comma, then D2 is greater than or equal to 45, comma, ABCDE2 is greater than or equal to 45, then F2 is greater than or equal to 45. So in this case, since we've done this, now I will say comma. If that be the case, merit, right? And yes, if that be the case, this person passed. So if I'm to run this, we still get merit. Autofill, basically you see that nothing changed. Yeah, okay. So now compared to what we had before, merit, pass, merit. So this is how you use status. Basically it's just the use of multiple if, which is the if equal to if, the multiple condition rather, and this, then this what you do. So this form allows you to compare between multiple conditions. So now let's check for count. What count does actually, this count, with a count, it enables you to be able to count how many columns are there or how many rows are there that is that contains a number, not just anything, that contains a number. So if I say count and I do opening and closing brackets, now from the beginning of my, I'll say a1, is it a1 or a2, rather a2, all the way to k2. So compare to k2. If I run this, we get 8, meaning there are 8 places in this row that contains number. Let's confirm. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, then 8. So which is true, 8. So I can also fill. It's going to be 8 throughout, because all of them are indeed 8. So that is for count. So count monitor for the rows or column that contains a number. But for count A, count how many rows or column or cell. Okay, let me use the word cell. Count is used to check how many cell contains number. While for count A checks how many cell is not empty. So it can be a number, it can be a letter. So the same procedure, just say count. For this time count A. So count A, so you say A2 again, A2 all the way to compare with this time around, let's say K2. You can extend it to L2, it's your choice. So if I run this, we get 11. So it means basically from the beginning to this very point, it's not empty. So we get 11. So for count blank is used to check how many cells is empty. So that's what count blank does. So the range will say from A2 all the way to, let's say Q2. Let's see if that will work. So run this, we get 0. We've extended the exact place. So let's reduce this. Let's reduce this to, okay, A2 all the way to no, not Q, sorry, M2. And what to run this, we get 0. It means that from the beginning to the end at that point, there's no cell right now that's empty. But if I'm to do this autofill, all the way to this point is going to be 0, right? But if I come this way, it's going to be different in that case. So you see we get 13 in this case. So let me chop out this point. Clear. Let me just leave that 3. So that is it for count blank. Now let's learn something else which is very important. We have something called the sum if. But before then, I want us to learn something. Let's create another form of table. Let's say we have extra or expenses. Let's say we have expenses, then we have extra, and then we have the cost. So expenses, let's say transport, um feeding, bill or materials, feeding, transport, yeah, transport again, feeding. So feeding, transport are basically the major. So you can have bills, you can have materials, yeah, transport again. So in the extra, we are going to say this transport is for going to school. This one is for feeding at school as well. Feeding at school. So some let's say GSE up, yeah, GSE. So this one is feeding at home. When you're at home, when you are going home, transport for going home, transport for going to church, transport for feeding at home, that's feeding at home, bills at home or at school. Let me just put school because that's the intention. School. This time around, math. So let me just put okay, physics P. Then school. So now the cost. It costs is 3,000, 2,000, 3,000, 3,000, 2,000, okay, 2,500, 2,500, 3,000, 2,500, actually 2,000 actually 3,000, feeding, transport, transport, okay, 2,500, that's 25,000, no, it's 25,000, 2,500. So in this case we have bills at school, 3,000, material, 1,500, then transport to school we have 3,500. So this is what we have so far. So now what we want to learn in this case is something called the count if, and sum if. First of all, we'll learn about the sum if, and then we will now learn about sum ifs. We learn about sum ifs. After that, we learn about count if. So if you've learned this, you are good to go. You are ready for this exam in terms of Excel, at least on extent. So this is just it. So how do you make use of the sum if? What's the difference between the sum if and the sum? What's the difference between them? The sum is used to just calculate everything. Like I can come here now saying equal to sum, and then I can just do a sum of everything from A to 2, like from this point, and then when this we get the sum, right? Then I can do autofill. This is the sum of everything. So but in case of sum if, it's not done that way. That's not how it's done. Sum if is used to calculate the sum of a specific item. With the use of sum if, you can make a choice. You can choose which item you want to calculate the sum of. Let's say you want to calculate for the sum of transport. You want to get the summation of expensive only for transport, right? So you say equal to, that is the use of sum if. Sum if equal to sum if, Then it takes some arguments, and these arguments are the criteria range, which is the criteria range in this case is B. So you already know how to represent this, so you click B. So this is actually the criteria range. The criteria range is where you have the expenses, all those stuff, comma the major criteria itself, which is transport, then comma the cost. So this is the argument we take. Now note, this is for sum if. This is how sum if is. If I'm to do this, we get 1 4. So it means the sum of expenses we have for just transportation to the expenses for school for transport is this. So I want to make this better. I want to do this. I want to make this better. I want to say school transport for transport. There's a better way I wish to do this, so I can color this instead. So yellow, right? So I can get rid of this. I can do this. I can say let me do okay, that's the case transport. So I can say let's just try equal to sum if. So in between I'll say criteria range, which is transport, comma my criteria in this case will be, I want to use this criteria which is F13. Is that true? No, not F14 actually. F14, yeah, F14, which is transport, comma F14 now, then comma the cost, which is this. So if I do this, we get 1 4, yeah. So I can just come here. So in this case, this is the sum if for transportation. What if I choose I change this from being transportation to feeding? You get? So if I touch this now, it updates itself, it changes. So this time around, it is no longer for, you can see the formula it ran, which is from B12, which is at this point, all the way to B22. Then you see our F14, comma the cost range now, which is D12 to D22. So the total expenses we've spent so far for just feeding is 7.5, but for transportation was just how much? I can't remember. Let's see, transport. So if I'm to click this, what 14,000. So this is how you make use of the sum if. You can see with the sum if we can just easily calculate for just 3,000, which is true. A specific as a person or whatever I want to do operation. So what about the case of sum ifs? The sum ifs enable us to do more. Now in this case, let's go back to transport, right? Transport. So in this case, I want to do more than just calculating for the transport. We have transport for going to school, transport for going to church, transport for going home, right? I want to know the transport, the expenses, the amount I've spent on transport going to school. So in this case, I'll put school. So writing this formula here, let me give this one a color. I'll say the color in this case is, should I use this? Okay, yeah, let me use something like that. So I'll say equal to sum ifs, then now in this case, this formula is different from the previous one. The previous one, we start with the criteria range, followed by the major criteria, then end with the cost criteria, the cost range. But in this case, we begin with the cost range. So in this case, I'll say cost range. yes, comma, followed by criteria range, comma, then followed by the major followed by the criteria range, comma, followed by the major criteria, which is not that now, which is this. Sorry, let me do that again. Let me start over again. Everything so equal to sum ifs say s. So it starts with a cost range from D2 to D22, comma, followed by a criteria range, which is B2 to B22, comma, followed by the major criteria, which is a G, uh, let's G14, okay, G14, comma. Now, if I'm to run this, I'll get the same answer as F14. What's wrong? Okay, G, I'm saying G. Let me change this to F actually. If I change this to F now, F14. Now I'm getting 114,000. If I'm to do autofill, we'll get exactly the same results. Autofill. Let me do it again. Fill, then autofill. Okay. It's because it's a fixed value. Yeah, it's correct. So we get the same result, right? So this is so the count if you can the count ifs can do similar thing work as you can do the same thing basically with what the you know you can do the same thing with the count if, while the count if cannot do what the count ifs can do. So is this just about the count ifs? No, the count ifs can go beyond. Now this is the expenses for I don't know why I did this. So let me see if I can get rid of this. Can get rid of all this. Okay, that's the case. Okay, now undo. Okay, let me just leave it the way it is. The count ifs can go beyond just giving you the expenses of which we have expenses. It can go beyond telling you the type of expenses. Now, these are the expenses we spend so far for transport. But I want to know which particular area. Is it transport for going to school or coming home? So going back to my formula, I will now say comma. Now I need another critical range. In this case, which is the extra, draw it down, which is C12 to C22, right? So I put comma. In this case, the next criteria will now be G14. G14, yep, G14. So if I'm to run this, we get 65. 65. So let's check that out. Anyway, we see transport now relating to school. So transport is school now, yeah, school. So 3,000. We have 35, which is almost 65, which is absolutely correct. So you can see this is just so I can come here and change this one home and it will update itself manually. I click this, you still get 5, which is true if you confirm. Transportation for going to home 25 so far, home again 3,000. With transportation for going to home we have 3,000, then transportation for going to home 25, and that is also 3,000 plus 25 is what 55. So this is what some ifs can do. This is the beauty of using Excel. With some ifs you can go beyond, with some if you can do the little you can, but some ifs allows you to go beyond. So the formulas are different. For some if it is criteria range followed by the major criteria, then the cost range. But for some ifs it is cost range first, major criteria, no, cost range, criteria range, and major criteria. So followed by criteria range and major criteria. So now that's about some if and some ifs. Let's learn about count if. Count if. So for count if, always remember opposite was equal to. Similar to the count if, the work of the count is to tell you, give you the time number of times something appear, right? Being it empty cell, a cell that is filled with number, a cell that is filled with either letters or number, or a particular word, right? So here in this case, we want to check how many times a word appear, right? So we want to say between the criteria range of this, let's say from this to this. Let's check from this to this now, comma. Let's check how many times the word let's say feeding appear. So let's run this. We get 3. So let's confirm 1, 2, and 3, which is very true. See, this just count if. So let me come here. I can put feeding, right? So instead of making that manual, I can say H14. H14, yeah. So I can run this. We get 3. So I can always change this. I can say, okay, what about school? How many times does school appear? We get, this is, it has changed. Okay, school does not appear in that criteria. What appears there is transport. So that's why I give 0. So transport. If I run this, we get 5. You can see this is just using this for Excel is beautiful. So you can say, okay, how many times does material appear? We know material appear twice, right? So you can put here and come here and put material. So I can do this, we get 2. So this is just Excel for you. How about the count if? Similar to the count some ifs, it allows you to go beyond. So let me say transport. So it appeared 5 times, right? So the count ifs, you say count ifs. You can see we have criteria range, criteria, so followed by extra whatsoever. So have I used this count if before? Okay, let's give it a try. I don't really recall if I've used it before. I think so in my former. So this count if we say criteria range. The criteria range in this case is this, right? So comma, the major criteria here is I'm actually doing this at the wrong place, but it's okay. We'll say H14, right? H14. Now this is just it. We put comma. The extra criteria will be this to this, right? This to this. Then comma. Now in this case, the extra will now be home. Let me use G14 first. G14. So if I run this, I get 2. Let me shift this to the right column. So then here I can say home, and I can replace it with I14. So I can say I14. So if I run this, I get 2. So let's check. In terms of transport, how many times does transport related to home appears? So we have transport school, transport home 1, transport home 2, which is correct. You can see this Excel. I hope your video, okay? This is just Excel. So we also have, I can choose to say, okay, what about church? Church appears once. Do this once. See, that's how it works. I can choose to say school, 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 and do this. It appeared twice. So these are the major functions you need to learn: the sum, average, rank, the if statement, and how to use multiple conditional if statement. You have the count, the counted, the count blank, some if, some ifs, count ifs, count ifs. There's still another one called VLOOKUP. We also have concatenation. Okay, let's just use that one lastly. Let's see if I still remember that concatenation. Concatenation. Actually, if you do a lot of coding, you should also know this. Let me just bring it out manually. Concatenation. Okay. So this is basically used to concat, that is join two um two words together, actually two things together, just as we have in chemistry concatenating carbon to carbon chain. This is totally concatenate. So I want to concatenate between some item. So let me say I have another uh let me say I have something here. I have another column here. I have first name. In this place now, I have nothing to do with the formula anymore. Please, I have nothing to do with the formula. This is different. So first name, and here we have last name. So I can say, let me just use here as last name, since we already have first name before last name, right? So I can say Johnny. I can say Johnny. I think we also have one for converting to uppercase, Johnny. I can say Lawrence. I can say George. Who's correct? George. Is that right? George. I can say Smith. I can say Bennett. I can say, yeah, seven. Okay, one more. I can say Kane. So now I want to concatenate. Between, what is it? Last name. I want to concatenate between uh A2, that's A2 now, with this means comparison, right? So this one I want to do A2 with P2. So let me give it a try. P2. So if I run this, I'll get this. What we'll get. Let's run this again. We get one Johnny. No. Oh, A2. Let me use B2. Right. So it's actually correct. So B2. So B2. Say B2. So on this, we get some Johnny. You see. So to make this better, I can concatenate it with a empty string so that there will be a space. It just follows the same coding concept. So if we do this, now we get a space between the Sam Johnny. Now I can auto fill in this case. I can do this, and we get everything. So we get the complete one. Can clear this off. Clear. So we get John Lawrence, Jeremiah Joel, Kennedy Smith, Ben. This is just it. This is about concatenation. So this one is concatenating, right? So let me concatenate to get rid of the equal to and this. So concatenate. So this is it. This is it. So you can take a good look at it. I don't know if there's a way I can send this to the group so anyone can use it. But if you follow the video so far, you go to get this. So this is it for now. With this knowledge, I advise you to go and check your past questions and see what you can do, how you can apply this knowledge. So with this said, thank you very much. Have a wonderful time, and please don't forget to subscribe. Good night.